Real pleasure to welcome the Animal Humane folks to the big round table here on the Morning Brew. I want to introduce you to Ellen Schmidt, who's Senior Director of Outreach and Volunteer Programs at Animal Humane New Mexico. Ellen, welcome.
Thanks so much.
And we have Gina, Sena, Humane Educator with Animal Humane New Mexico. Did I get all that right?
You did.
Hey, good. Phew. All right, now we can chat. What's going on with you guys? You got a summer camp thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
So our summer camp, we are gearing it towards kiddos between 8 and 13 and teaching them about pet care responsibility, what we do at Animal Humane, what shelters do and rescues do, and basically working on teaching empathy and caring for their community. So.
Wow. All that through caring for animals.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
What do you find when kids learn to be responsible for a pet, a cat or a dog? Talk about that.
A lot of great things come out of just learning pet responsibility. One of the biggest things, as Gina mentioned, is humane education, which is aimed at teaching kids empathy. Builds a lot out of caring for others. And when you're learning to care for a pet, you learn how to understand them, how to communicate with them. We talk about training, things like that. And understanding is kind of the root of empathy. If you can understand somebody else, whether it's a dog or a cat or your classmate, you're going to treat them differently. You're going to act more kind toward them. And so it's a great opportunity to work with the kids on that.
And what are some of the frequent questions that the kids have, or frequent issues that you guys are facing?
Oh gosh, the biggest one is that we talk about is spay and neuter, because that's what we want to see done. We want to see the pet population decrease, homelessness decrease. So we do a couple of different activities, and one of them is a stamp activity where they, we start with, mama cat has 6 kittens, and we work through in a year how many kittens can be born with that. And the one we did yesterday, we ended up with 350 something.
A lot of cats.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we focus just on the females, so we tell them that even if you get the males in there, there's going to be even more. And so when they start working through this, we get the kids that go, I don't want to stamp anymore. Why don't people just spay and neuter?
It'd be so much easier.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
That's what, and they're the next generation coming up. So they're the kids that can then go out and be the next advocates.
Wonderful.
I want to get a larger, more 10,000-foot view of what Animal Humane does. And if people have heard of you guys, and they kind of know what you do, but give us a sense of the mission and the day-to-day at Animal Humane of New Mexico.
Absolutely. So our overarching mission is it's a pretty broad one. It's to improve the lives of New Mexico's cats and dogs through sheltering, adoptions, humane education, which is what Gina and I do, and veterinarian services. And so we do a lot day to day to help our community, pet owners in our community, future pet owners in our community, to help them work with their animals, form better bonds with their animals, because overall, when the animals are treated well in our community, people end up being treated well in our community as well. So most people, when we think of Animal Humane, we think of adoption services and sheltering, which is huge. It's a huge portion of our mission. We also have a low-income qualifying donor-subsidized veterinarian clinic. We do vaccination clinics. We have a pet food bank that helps support families in need. If they run into a situation where they're struggling to feed their pet, they can come. We can help them with pet food. Obviously, we do humane education. Gina and I do the summer camp program. We also do school programs during the year, all aimed at just kind of helping improve the relationship in our community between pets and people.
I love it. You fall in love with the face of a furry friend.
Yeah.
But it is a very long commitment.
Yes.
And it's really important for the parents to also be aware of what that responsibility entails. What are some of the programs that you offer? Kind of fill me into what the parents are learning through their kids' experience.
Yeah.
So along the same lines as the kids, they're learning more about the responsibility. The kids go home each evening and they talk to their parents about what they've learned, what we've covered. We have scrapbooks that we're having them keep up with so that they can actually go home and show their parents, the things that we've talked about and the things that they've learned. But the parents are learning that their kids are kind of gaining that responsibility. They're coming home and taking on some of the pet care needs. The kids are coming home. Some of them, of course, come home and I want this cat, I want this dog, but the parents are then able to talk to them more about, well, what does it entail to take care of this pet for their life? And they're able to have that conversation with their child. So.
And you want your pets, to live a very long and healthy life. But do we really know what that means? It's
right.
10 to 15 years or more, of care and love, and they need constant they need exercise. They need to be cleaned. They need to be loved, and it just.
And we try and make the education for that as engaging and fun as possible. So like a big topic when it comes to pet care is nutrition. And when it comes to nutrition, you know, you're picturing a room full of 8-year-olds. They might not be the most interested in learning, you know, what's the best food to feed your dog and why.
Right.
So we do a dog food, taste food challenge. So they get to create their own recipe based off of information of what dogs like, what's good for them, what's bad for them, things like that. They get to create a meal, and then we get to have the shelter dogs come in and sample, and they get to pick their favorites, and the kids love it. And then they're taking that information home. Mom, Dad, did you know our dog can't have onions? We can't feed avocado. There's garlic in our dog food. That probably shouldn't be there. Things like that. So they get to take that knowledge home with them, which is really cool.
That's incredible.
What a great idea.
Tons of fun.
Yeah. You know, another thing that kids have a hard time with, this has just happened in our family, is the loss of a pet, too. And to teach why Fluffy has passed away and what you do, and there's some issues there.
It's so devastating, and sometimes that's the first experience of loss and grief that they encounter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is great. You obviously have, Animal Humane is a great brand, if you will, and I know you work really hard at maintaining the integrity of that brand, and you're supported entirely by donations, right?
Yes, absolutely. So we are a private 501c3 nonprofit, and all the money that we use to take care of our pets, but then also to run programs like this is all comes from generous donations of our supporters, which is awesome.
And I read that you're working to secure scholarships for next year
Absolutely.
for funding for the campers.
Absolutely. So the scholarships are really helpful. This was our first year with Camp Humane, and so we're kind of building as we go. There's lots of kids, especially in the Albuquerque metro area, but even outside of that, who probably they would never have the option of going to a summer camp like this. And Camp Humane, it's fun. It's all about having fun, but the lessons that they get from it are so important. We want to open up to as wide an audience as we can, because not only do these kids learn these things that they take home, they take it into school next year. They make it into school projects. They become animal advocates as they become older. We want to reach as many folks as we can with that. And scholarships let kids who ordinarily would never be able to come to a camp like that have that opportunity.
And then throughout the year, Learn Humane goes into the classrooms?
Absolutely.
So we go basically as teachers request us. We'll go out into classrooms. We go into APS. We've been into some of the Rio Rancho schools, private schools. We have schools come to us and we do tours of our facility. So it's another way for us to reach basically the children and get that empathy that Ellen was talking about out to them. We talk about pet care with the little guys. We talk about how to be safe around dogs. So if there's a strange dog that comes up to them, what do they do?
Yeah.
How to greet a dog, because that's one of the things how do you greet a dog?
Can you teach us for the kids, because we all kind of want to learn that. Can you tell us right now, we've got a few minutes, what is the right way to approach a dog?
So the best way really is to let the dog come to you. Let them make the choice. But what we talk with both the campers and students with is, kind of stand still, be calm, and even with dogs, it's more polite to not stare directly at them. Dogs have a different way of communicating than we do. So where with us, eye contact is important. With dogs, it's not. And even turn your side to them a little bit so that you're not standing kind of straight on. It's a little bit scary for them. And then we have the kids hold their hand out and make a fist. And the reason we do that is because kids, their hands smell awesome and like food.
And dogs love that.
Yeah. So we don't want them to mistake it for treats. So we have them tuck their hand and just hold their hand out, let the dog sniff.
Right.
And that's how dogs say hello. And so they can sniff, and then the area that we have them pet is here on the chest and the chin or the shoulders so that the dog can see their hand. And the most automatic way that we typically will pet a dog is on the head or on the back. But we explain to the kids that, if you pat your own head or you pat your own back, you can't see your hand doing that, and neither can the dog. So when first meeting a dog, best thing's going to be to keep your hands where they can see them, so that one, they know what you're going to do, but then also you're aware of, how they're handling it if they're happy. So.
And we end up teaching a lot of body language. Dogs are really great communicators. They're wonderfully social animals. They talk to us all the time. If you don't know what they're saying, you miss it. And so one of the things we do is teach kids that there are certain cues dogs give us to say, ooh, I'm getting nervous, please back off. And so we do that as well.
Oh, you could teach me to communicate with my dog?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
He kept trying to tell me he wanted out last night, but it was about 20 false alarms. Susan
Sammy.
said, yeah, dog wants out. Really? No, he don't want out. Maybe he does. That went on about 20 times last night. I need to talk to you guys. All right, so let's wrap it up here. And the camp, you need more donations, people to participate. What do you need?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're just about to wrap up the camp session for this year.
Yeah.
So our final session is next week, and it's fully booked. But we're going to be starting the sessions again next summer.
Good.
So if we have parents who are interested in bringing their
Nice.
students to camp, they can start looking at the Animal Humane website in March, and that website is animalhumanenm.org. And then look into some of our other educational activities for the school year. If you're a teacher or a parent who wants to see some of this education go into your classroom, that's the place to find us.
Ellen and Gina, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Love
Great
having you on the
information.
show.
Thanks.
Great, thanks so much.
Animal Humane here on the Morning Brew. Hey, we'll be right back.